Roman Reigns to reunite with former WWE champion. 4 things the OTC can do after Jey Uso rejected Jimmy Uso's reunion request. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. For WWE family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. WWE Monday Night Raw aired last night on the USA Network. This taped edition of the Red brand featured a title match, a big-time tag team main event, the return of the War Raiders, and more. Thanks to spoilers, many fans already knew about those moments and matches. However, what nobody saw coming were 2 segments with Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso went to his locker room, and to his shock and dismay, Jimmy Uso was sitting there. Jey immediately left, not wanting to deal with his twin and former bloodline stablemate. Later in the show, Jimmy Uso again confronted Jey, and this time, the Intercontinental Champion made it clear that he wanted nothing to do with Jimmy. He wouldn't even hear Jimmy out, even though fans knew what Uso wanted. Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso need help against the bloodline, and Jimmy showed up on Raw to try to reunite with his twin. Now that Jey has rejected him, what might Roman Reigns do? This article will look at a handful of options. Below are 4 things Roman Reigns can do after Jey Uso rejected Jimmy Uso's reunion request on WWE Raw. WWE Friday Night SmackDown saw Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso talk on camera for the first time since WrestleMania. While the two clearly got along well, there was one issue that divided the pair: Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso made it clear that the two needed help against the Bloodline's Solo Sikoa Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu when the crowd started to. Knowing that Jey Uso was who Jimmy wanted to ask for help, Roman bluntly told Jimmy. As a result, Roman may be unhappy that Jimmy showed up on Monday Night Raw in an effort to recruit Jey. He may scold his cousin for the move or even walk away from Jimmy entirely, frustrated that his request was ignored. On the other hand, there is a chance that Roman Reigns agreed to have Jimmy Uso ask Jey Uso for help. While publicly he said no, something could have happened on WWE SmackDown that changed the OTC's mind. The night ended with Solo Sikoa defeating Jimmy Uso in singles competition. When the Bloodline attacked, Roman Reigns came out for the save. Unfortunately for the former WWE champion, and the Bloodline decimated the OTC, leaving Roman and Jimmy hurt. Despite his reservations, Roman may have changed his mind after the beating. Now that Jey has declined the offer, Roman could go back to his attitude and essentially say, "Forget Jey Uso," perhaps in a less PG manner. Reigns is a prideful individual, and if Uso won't help him, Roman is unlikely to beg. Of course, unlikely is the key word in that previous statement. While Roman Reigns may not be the type to beg or plead, he could muster the courage to ask Jey Uso himself to reunite on WWE Raw. If anything, Roman being the one to go to Jey makes sense for a lot of reasons. Jey Uso was abused by the tribal chief on WWE SmackDown for years. He was manipulative and cruel. If Roman is looking to change and be a new person, he needs to show Jey that personally. As a result, Roman Reigns could show up on Monday Night Raw next week and ask Jey Uso personally to talk. While the Intercontinental Champion would likely push back initially, Roman taking the initiative and perhaps even apologizing would likely be a major step forward in fixing their fractured relationship. Bloodline, despite not being family thanks to his persistence and willingness to sacrifice himself for the group. The WWE star was eventually deemed the honorary use of the Bloodline and was effectively part of the family. Just like with Jey, things went south thanks to Roman's abusive past. Still, Sami is known for being rational and someone who has a big heart. If Jimmy and Roman go to the underdog from the underground, apologize, and emphasize the threat of Solo Sikoa's bloodline, Sami may consider reuniting with his former stablemates.